have already tasted all of the pies that have been a part of the pie contest, right? Everybody got a little piece of sweet potato pie? Now it's time to taste it. In this time period, 1770 to 1783, granite tea was the more prevalent drink. Here in Georgetown, South Carolina, we have the herbalist Miss Jackie Williams, who makes some amazing blends. And I reached out to Miss Jackie and I said, Miss Jackie, I'm on the 250 and I need you to do me some favor. Can you make me a sweet potato tea? And she said, sure. Y'all, rest is history. Please sample. She's passing out samples. I'm gonna give her the mic and I'm gonna pass out the samples. How about that? So that she can give y'all the backstory behind her tea blend. Okay? Come on, Miss Jackie. I'm gonna give you this.
Okay. All righty. Good afternoon. I was trying to get my steps in. Then she stopped me. All right. Okay. Um, first off, thank you all so much for coming. And I want to thank everybody that played a part in putting on this festival. It truly has been an amazing day. My name is Jackie Williams. Everybody calls me Jay. And I am a Gullah herbalist. I often tell people that I learned about herbalism from my big mama. Her name was Elizabeth Sumter. She passed away several years ago, but she was the matriarch of our family. Um, my parents both work. It was 12 of us in the household. And my big mama was the one that was primarily responsible for running the household and taking care of 12 people that was a part of the household. And so she was a herbalist before people even understood what herbalism was. And she kept a family of 12 well with herbal medicine. I was very drawn to her because I just thought that she was so magical because you get sick and she'd go into the woods and come back with sticks and branches and leaves and what have you. And the next thing you know, you were well. And I was like, that's magic. That is magical. That is magical. And so I really wanted to be like her. And as a result of that, in our community, whatever you gravitate towards, whether it's like oral, telling the story, basket weaving, indigo dyeing fabric, wherever you gravitate, that is basically where they train you from. And so I gravitated towards herbalism, and she was the one that introduced me to it. And I followed her up until her death. And it's just such a big part of our culture, living off of the land and living off of the sea until until it just became a part of who I am naturally. We live by herbal medicine, medicine from the land, medicine from the sea, because we truly believe that whatever you have going on, whether it's in your body, physically, or whether it's things that you are dealing with on an emotional level, that there is something on this land that helps you with that. So when I was asked to do this tea, I always get excited anytime I'm asked to curate a special tea. So I was so excited. I was so excited. Anybody in here ever seen Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss, what is it? When he stole Christmas, that one, right? The Grinch that stole Christmas. I was like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Like when they asked me, I really did look like Dr. Seuss. I went into my studio. I was like, yes, yeah. I get so excited because I love herbs and I love the creative part of it. And I love what it can do and what it does. And I also love being able to tell stories. So Pilar sent me photos, and then I did a little deep dive, and she sent me photos of the art piece, the painting that depicted Oscar Marion, and I just kind of honed in on that scene of him roasting the sweet potato over the open fire. My goal was to design a tea that when you drank it, it really made you feel like you were a part of history and like you were there. So that's where the smokiness in the tea comes from, because if you've ever grown up roasting stuff, now y'all look at y'all, be honest now. How many of y'all done roast hot dogs outside on the wire coat hanger? Okay. You know what I'm talking about? That's it. Oh, look at on the burn barrel. All right. And so you know what I'm talking about when I say that smokiness is just like it's second to none. Like you can have a real burn barrel, but ain't nothing like that burn barrel. And so when they asked me about it, I just went back to that and I said, sweet potato tea, but let it have the twist of that smokiness. So when you drink it and you close your eyes, it just makes you feel like you are there and like you are a part of history. And so I really hope and pray that this tea embodies that. And that when you drink it, you can really connect the story with it. I love for my teas to be a conversational piece where you can not only drink it and savor it, but also sit down and have good conversations over it because there is a story behind it, which is why we always say with our teas, a story in every cup. Every sip tells a story. That is our tagline for our teas. Every sip tells a story. So, so she asked me, she we were talking and she said, I need for you to give a description of the tea. Well, I hadn't really I didn't think that far about it being in a book like this, which I think is so cool. And so let me make y'all laugh. So a friend of mine, I teach a lot at Coastal with a lot of the different schools. And one of my friends, who's a professor at Coastal, brought me some herbs and he brought me a tincture and he brought me a cough syrup. And he said, this cough syrup is a little potent now. You got to be careful with it. But that's the best cough syrup I ever had. So I was getting ready to put the description together. And I said, I'm going to try a little bit of this cough syrup. So I took one little teaspoon, right? And I was like, I don't know what kind of liquor base he used, but this thing is good. So I ended up taking another teaspoon and I felt so warm and fuzzy inside. And that's how I came up with the name Oscar Ember. Oscar Ember. It was from the cough syrup. And and I was just like contemplating and thinking, and then I just started writing what it actually meant to me to be able to curate this tea. And it just says Oscar's Ember Tea Blend is more than a tea. It's a sip of legacy inspired by the quiet strength of Oscar Marion, an enslaved patriot who served alongside General Francis Marion during the Revolutionary War. This blend carries the warmth of a forgotten fire. Smoky notes rise like the scent of sweet potatoes roasting over an open flame, just as they did in the photo that still lingers in memory. Oscar bent over the embers, feeding the fire with care and purpose. The sweetness is subtle, like the dignity he carried as he left legacy that will live on forever. Oscar's Ember was designed to take us back in time, looking over his shoulder and remembering the aromas that were released that night, and the taste of freedom and liberty that all enslaved people carry in their hearts and spirit. A story in every sip. And so I hope that as you experience that tea, that this scene really resonated with you. And if it did, then I have done my job. And I hope that you all enjoy it. But that's a little bit of my story about being a Gullah tea artisan and also what inspired me to do this particular blend of tea. Thank you all so much for listening. Appreciate you all.